me luck. So, welcome. My name is Roxana Resendis. Good morning, and this is our historian workshop, and let's make history together. Our objectives will be identify the roles and responsibilities of your local PTA historian, understand the importance of volunteer hours, recognize forms and formats of the historian reports, understand the importance of the historian records. These are your responsibilities. We are going to be over all this step by step. I just wanted to point out to you that if you don't have a historian, the responsibility will fall into your president. So the historian responsibilities are captures, assembles, and preserve records of activities and achievements of a PTA, collects volunteer hours for PTA meetings and events, completes and submits the PTA unit annual historian report to council and district PTA, displays or presents pre-overview of PTA year at meeting near the end of the school year. Here we go. So I sent this forms to you ahead of time. Mercy did. And this is what we have. Document your volunteer time. Every minute spent related to PTA counts. Calls, meetings, events, etc. Record your events. Take pictures. Make a scrapbook. Do a slideshow. Set up a display board, etc. You can do so much. At the end of the year, present a mock check to your school board. Social media needs you. Even when you dream about it, you can see this little picture right here. You're in the bed and you're like, wow. It counts. Volunteers' hours are collected and reported to maintain PTA federal tax exception status. As nonprofit organization, our PTA must receive 1/3 of its support from general public. This recording hours will prove that. So please record your volunteer hours. Be proud of your work. Show everything that you got. Find all pictures, do a scrapbook, to have it on meetings, back to school nights, or community events. Share your progress, share everything that you do at your site, and post it on social media. We have forms that have to fill it out. Familiarize yourself with the forms entitled PTA unit annual historian report form and annual council historian report. They are used to report volunteer hours annually to council and to district PTA. You can find this in the toolkit. I sent this form ahead of time, like I said, but you can find it at the California National PTA website as well. If you don't have a historian, again, this responsibility falls to your presidents. Follow the instructions. Once it's filled, you will send it to channels. This one is the units. So you should send this one to unit president on their due dates. And this one is the one that council have to submit it to our 33rd district. Again, fill out the form and just send it through the channels. The due date to this one's it's a format and sample of the historian summary. It was sent to with the package, and it has everything that you have to report. Council name of the council president, how many units, and the time that it was organized, how many members do you have, and then your statement. You don't need to write out something big. I don't need it super long. Be concise, be brief, share about the programs that you have on your sites, workshops, and activities that you offer to your community through the whole year. And this example was sent to. historian records. It is very important for associations to keep these records. As we celebrate 125 years of legacy, it's for me very impressive to see the pictures and records on these many videos that show our advocacy. It's incredible. All those, to see all those mementos that our PTA have. It's incredible how long our associations has been present in our kids advocacy. When I was a council president, one of the units shared a scrapbook that was found. It has a certificate from that unit dated on 1946 and a newspaper article where they show a picture when the city council turned off signal traffic light after 2 years of that advocacy. So to me, that's to see that particular time on those records, it was like, wow, to touch that book. I was like 1946. It's wow. It feels amazing. So we have here our record for last year historian report. We can have it on paper. And on this website, you can watch videos on our YouTube channels. So go there and look what they have done. We're almost done. It was quick. Resources. We have a page of resources. We have our California State PTA, CAPTA.org, or National PTA, PTA.org. We have 33rd District PTA, or webpage. We have my webpage, historian33rd.pta.org. You can always reach out to me with questions at any time. We have Mr. Gerard Greenwich, who is our communication partner on 33rd District. So you have his webpage, his email, so you can reach out to him if you need help with social media. He's an expert. We have the California PTA Toolkit. We have a historian description job. We have the forms that we send it out to you, and you can find any help in there. Questions, comments, concerns? Now it's the time.
When are the reports due? Like, is this at the end of the year, or do you need to be submitting them on a monthly or quarterly basis?
The report, the due date to 33rd will be tentative on March 27th. But I will start sending emails before this date to remind you. And you will be hearing from me.
Okay, thank you.
Does this mean that you have to include things from the previous year that were after March?
No.
Or does anything that happened after March 27 kind of not count?
No. It's during your year from June 30th or July 1st to June 30th. That's your period of time. Everything that happens during time, then you can.
I'll jump in though, just briefly to elaborate on that answer. If there was something very exciting that happened in your unit last year between March and the end of the school year, then by all means, you can include that in your historian report for the next year. They need the hours to project forward before the end of the year. So you want to make sure that anything that's happening between March and June, you've allowed for those hours in your report. So you project forward what you think those hours are going to be. And if you had a very exciting carnival, or you had a very exciting speaker, you can always include that in the report from the next year.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Sandy. Yeah. Okay, and
There's a question in the chat, Roxana, about where to submit the report.
if you're a unit, you have to submit your report to your president, and they will have their own due date. And then if you're a council president, you should send a report to me at Historian 33. I'll be sending you an email or a call or a text reminding you when it's the time to approach it. Mhm. Any other questions?
I just type into the chat box that you mentioned scrapbooks or as a report, putting pictures and events that's happening. Do we need to submit that, or that's just for our record?
Well, you can have pictures, and I will request usually by March to like 5 pictures that represent most of what you have done to put it on our 33rd PTA district report. Because I like to do a big, not a big, but a slideshow, and to show every council what they have done. If you're from council, if you're a unit, then you can do that and show it on your council meetings. Mhm. So yeah, take pictures, show them, do a slideshow.
I have a question about pictures as the historian. Is it allowed and legal to sort of like create a Google Drive for anybody to upload pictures? Or does that get into danger? And then I can sort of like choose from like all families' photos for like if somebody gets a better picture than me at all of these things? Or do I need to be like taking good photos and just sort of like getting them directly, but not opening that up to everybody in the school?
Sandy, do you wanna?
Yeah, you know, that is absolutely your choice. That's your preference. You can create a Google Doc to be able to have people submit photos. At the end of the day, whatever you're going to put on your website or whatever you're going to have represent your unit, you want to make sure that you've culled that a little bit. But if you want to open it up and invite people to submit pictures, that's okay too.
Good morning, Sandy. I have a related question the gentleman just asked. Do we need any other permissions? Inevitably, those pictures will have pictures of our students in the background. Do we have a blanket a waiver from the parents?
The photo releases that the parents sign for the school district incorporates what we do in PTA as well. So just make sure that your families have signed those photo releases. In this day and age, there's usually only 1 or 2 families per school who may be a little bit leery about that and don't sign the photo release, and then that becomes common knowledge. So make sure you check in with the administration at your school site so that you know who has signed the photo release and who hasn't.
Thank you for the answer.
Any other questions? Okay.
All right, there's a question in the chat that on the historian report form, it asks for the grand total of volunteer hours. The question is this for the entire PTA council, or does it have to be broken down by person?
If you're a council, it's for the whole council. And you can, because I requesting it on the 27th before your term ends, you can always estimate how many more hours you will have.
So just to clarify, the unit historians report for your unit, for your school, and then those reports will then go to your council historian, and the council historian will then add up all of those hours and also the hours that the officers of the council put in, and then submit those as well.
I have a question related to that. The volunteer hours, is it only for PTA members or is it the entire school, all parents, even if they're not members?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
Just
The volunteer hours, is it just the executive board or just the PTA members, or is the entire school?
Oh, it's the entire school. So if you're able to track, you know, the room parent hours, and people that come in and teach hands-on art and anything that anyone does that is related to PTA business, counts. There's a question in the chat. If funds raised are considered volunteer hours. I think the short answer to that would be no. The funds raised would be included in your Ways and Means report, and then your volunteer hours are reported in your historian reports. Are there any other questions? Even non-historian related questions, we can try to answer them if possible. Anything else that anybody needs clarification on?
yes, no, maybe so.
I have a question. In our, we don't have Ways and Means on our board. Does that mean the president does the job, or can we elect one, or I don't know, nominate one?
Marcy?
I can give you the short answer, check your bylaws. Your offices are based on what your bylaws say. Ways and Means is fundraising basically, so you don't have a fundraising VP on your board right now. Do you know if it's listed in your bylaws?
I don't remember what we should be doing, but we nominated a person for Ways and Means and she declined. So after that, we didn't do anything about it. So I'm just wondering.
So at this point, it's outlined in your bylaws. Sorry, I'm Marcy Cottrell. I'm the Director of Leadership for 33rd District PTA. So at this point, what you would do is check your bylaws, see if that is an office or position listed in your bylaws. Your president can appoint, bring up and appoint someone in your executive board meeting. In your executive board meeting, your executive board would vote on that, and then you would bring it to your association for ratification. So yes, you can find someone new and it's not a problem, and hopefully you'll find someone soon.
Thank you.
Okay, so we just found a parliamentarian. So that's what you mean.
Right, your parliamentarian is appointed. So your president will appoint your parliamentarian, and then you'll just ratify your parliamentarian into your association meeting.
Okay, when is that executive board meeting? Or do we make it up?
Your executive board meeting dates, or not dates, but times, day and times are days are listed in your bylaws. It'll say something like the third Tuesday of the month, the third Wednesday of the month.
Oh, it's the third Thursday of the month. Okay, so those meetings. Okay, thank you.
And your association meetings are also listed in your bylaws.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
This is Byung Cho. I'm a historian, Redondo Union High School. Go Seahawks. And also, I serve as a Redondo Beach Council PTA parliamentarian. If anybody on this call has additional questions, parliamentarian questions, I can also help out. And one more question about it's my first time as historian. I've seen those wonderful presentations that our previous former historians put together. Do you prefer the physical form made of those, or would it be okay to start creating a digital versions? Because we do so many wonderful things. I would like to have as much of that captured as possible and share it with others, so more people will notice that there are wonderful things happening all throughout the year, and more should join that effort. Is there a preference or a requirement that those are physical, or can digital be okay?
There's no requirement. I think digital is great because we're in that digital world now, right? And people want to see moving pictures and music and all the fancy fancy things. If you can do that, go ahead, be my guest, go ahead and do it. I would prefer it because it's easier to keep and to reference later. But if you want to do physical, both are absolutely fine.
Great. Thank you for the helpful answer.
You can do it with music. Just be careful on the music
Copyrights.
and
Yep.
you'll be fine.
Thank you, ma'am.
One of the things we've done in district with music is through your reflections program, you've got kids who are writing music and submitting music for your reflections program. We've used their music with their permission in our slideshows just to highlight more students as possible.
That's a great idea. And then I was thinking about also incorporating our high school's choir and band.
That's
Oh.
perfect.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
There's a question. Is there a place where we can see examples of past historian reports?
I will talk to our media person and we'll see if we can post ours from last year on social media or share them with you. I'll make sure that to do that. Like give me at least 2 weeks. I'm a promise 1 week, but we'll do it. We'll make it happen.
Let me just say, all of these sessions are being recorded. They will be posted on our YouTube page. Give us a couple of weeks to do that. We had several workshops this week and they take a bit of time to download and edit and then get up onto our website and YouTube channels. So they will be coming. I just can't promise you when, because that's out of my technical abilities. And I have to pass it over to our communications person because he's fabulous, but it's not within my technical abilities. So I'll be waiting on him. But they'll be up within, I'm hoping within 2 to 2.5 weeks.
And from a historian, we have time to do or things. It's just that for you sites, you can start recorder and do your pictures and you're recording your hours. So that's we wanted to do this workshop ahead of time. And
also, Jay, just in answer to your question about seeing past historian reports, you might want to check in with some of the past presidents around your unit and see if they have some things that they would be willing to share with you. Chances are there's some things in the vault somewhere that would represent your own unit that you can have a look at as well.
And if you have old last year's, the year before's, or older things hanging out, those are great ways to those are great things to put out during perhaps back to school night to increase membership and to get more parents involved. When they see excitement, they want to be involved, right? So you're like the marketing director of what the best of what PTA does at your school.
I remember when I was a unit level and when of our middle school or PTA implemented the medals and trophies for our students, and we used to put on back to school night those big boards with pictures from previous years and medals and trophies at the side and all that. So that will a physical proof that we're working. So that's just an example. Michelle, are you talking to us? You're okay.
Yes, I am. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I missed the first 10 minutes of you talking. And so I'm coming into the questions and answers. And I have been trying to nail down the old historian to see what her job was. And they just keep saying to me, it's super simple. You just collect hours, da, da, da. You guys are going into photos and I'm a little curious. What are you talking about? So sorry.
Well, like I said, when we used to work at the union level and we used to present those trophies and medals, we used to take pictures and that goes into our historian book, into our historian report. Like this is what we do. And if you do a carnival, you can take pictures of what are you doing and that represents. If it is a PTA related, that represents your workshops. Right now,
So, my PTA does not take pictures. My PTA, well, they take pictures of events, right? And I'm sure that we have a photographer like part of our PTA, so I'm sure I can grab pictures from her, or I could take my own pictures and build something. But everyone just like writes in there, they have like a check-in, like, and they're like, I work from this time to this time. I have no one mentioned anything about pictures of doing something.
Yeah, it's in some places it's been like that. Let me tell you something. When I became a president for the first time, they just told me you're gonna be a president of PTA, and I was like, okay, what do I have to do? Just go to one meeting a month, and then it becomes a whole sorry. So I'm in there on that. So believe me, it's you're gonna be fine.
Okay.
You're gonna be okay, and just you have a job historian. I send the link where you can find
My job description. I think it's hard too,
Yeah.
because we were in the pandemic for 2 years. So even the
Yes.
people that were prior, they really didn't know what to do anyway, because they couldn't do anything. So,
yes.
okay,
Marcy
well,
and I
this is
just put a
great.
couple of, Marcy and I just put a couple of links in the chat. If you want to scroll back through, there's a couple of links that go right to the toolkit that might help you out. Job description, and then writing your historian report. That might help you out as well. And you know, coming out of the pandemic, the silver lining is that we get to reinvent a few things. You know, it doesn't always have to be the old way. Now we can do things kind of a nice, fun, creative way that you want to do it. So go, Michelle, go.
Oh, you got this. You got this.
I would say, like, the historian kind of became the person who collected the hours and didn't do anything else. And the parts where we were showcasing our PTAs and showing the parents all the fun stuff that we do that they don't always know, some parents don't know about, kind of got left behind. And I think with Roxana coming in, she's really excited about you guys being able to showcase the best of PTA to your parents, to anybody else who's coming into the school. So we want to encourage you guys to showcase the best of what you got, because that's what gets parents excited.
So it's funny that you say that, because I was doing the historian this year, but at the same time, I do like the community development too. So I feel like that could work hand in hand, because everyone, I feel like our school, like, communication isn't enough. Like, people don't optimize social media, and they don't do all. So I made like a parents page, and I've been taking bits of like the newsletter and just putting it on at like snippets, right? So yeah, this is more exciting than taking a little hour thing. I don't want to do that. I want to do something that's going to make a difference. So thank you for those tools, because I'm going to make it my way.
Perfect. Is it Antiza?
Anita.
Anita.
Hi, Marcy. We met at CAPTA. Going back to that form though, since you provided all those really nice forms, we kind of started our own, like, just, you know, the way that we were just keeping track, almost like a sign-in sheet, but a digital sign-in sheet of, like, you know, does it matter? Because the sheet that you guys have, although really nice, seems more complicated than the one that we've got going. So
I'll be very honest. That it's something that some of our units have helped me and send it to me, because I was trying to do one for you guys and I couldn't. I'm not like so much of tech person. So this kind of people say like, hey, Roxana, here we have the form. And I'm like, okay, I'll put it out there. But you can do it however is easy for you and just go from there. It doesn't have to be the one that I share. It's just an example of to track.
okay. I think my main concern with it was that it's like broken down into different like roles and stuff like that. And I was just wondering if at any point that's data that we have to know. If that's data that we don't have to know, if it's all hours are treated the same, then we'll, you know, we won't worry about gathering that data.
No, at the end, it's just when you fill the form, it's just the whole amount. Like us, it was like thousands of hours just between the whole district. So it's just what I have to show. And
Okay.
it's the same in yours. It's just how you want to keep your records.
Okay.
Right, Marcy?
So then at the end of the year, it's literally just one number that we submit.
Yes, just one number.
All right, great.
And towards the end of the year, Roxana's going to be asking your councils for pictures that we can include in a slideshow for our annual meeting. at the very end of the year. So keep that in mind. If you don't hear from your council president in around March?
27th.
Okay, around March.
March.
Hit them up and say, hey, I heard that you're collecting pictures for the district slideshow. I'd like to submit some. So if you don't have a council, that would be me.
Mhm.
If you're ABC, that would be Anita Averick. If you're out of council and not ABC Unified, that would be me. I'm your mentor person / kind of council person.
Mhm.
What school are you with?
Miss. So yeah, we're familiar with Anita.
Okay.
Yep. Mitchell?
Oh, I have a question. So to sign up for this meeting, I had to figure out the council and the unit numbers. And so it says that we're no council, or can you explain that to me?
Okay, so the way it works is a unit is your school PTA. So Redondo Union High School PTA, right? Redondo Union High School PTA is part of a council, and that would be Redondo Beach Council of PTAs. The councils are then part of a district. We're 33rd district. That would be the overarching we have, I think, 18 councils now, and then 2 out of council districts. And then over that is state PTA, and over that is national PTA. So what school are you with?
Wiseburn.
Wiseburn. You're an out of council PTA. That means you don't have a council. We have a few of those, and I'm your district mentor.
Oh, great.
I'm in contact with the presidents at your school. So if you don't hear anything from, I probably send emails out about once a month-ish. So
The president's my husband, so you'll be
perfect.
sending it out to him
I think I saw him at the president's meeting.
twice.
Yes. He was very good. He had lots of questions. That's a good thing.
Okay, great.
So
Thank
yeah,
you.
if he needs anything, make sure he contacts me. Any questions, any issues, whatever, I'm here to help.
Great. Don't mind me. I'm going to take a picture of your name so I can
Sure.
I need to make sure I keep everyone organized. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, historian or otherwise, that we can answer? Go ahead and.
I have a question. So should we be asking the members of our board to keep count of their volunteer hours, or is it at the end of the year, ask them for their numbers?
No, I recommend you to do it. No, I recommend you to start doing it now. So you can be adding, because at the end of the year, believe me, I've been hard. Some people wait until the end and they don't receive any. I had a couple of consoles that didn't turn in theirs last year, and that's, well, it was,
There
yeah.
there are definitely units that collect the hours monthly. Some units have it as part of your sign-in sheet when you come to the executive board meetings or the association meetings. They have it as part of the sign-in sheet. So you sign in and then you put your hours on the sign-in sheet, and it just makes it a lot easier to collect that way.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So just make sure, I'm notoriously bad at tracking my hours. And when I've been a unit president and a council president, and I was notoriously bad at tracking hours. So when it gets down to the end of the year and you haven't tracked them monthly, and you're going, how many hours did we spend on PTA? I was really bad at estimating that. So I think I way underestimated the power and the hours of your PTA. And on average, Roxana, what would you say would be an annual number for hours?
Well, it is hard to say, because it depends on what you do. Some of our people works like 8 hours a day, believe it or not. Like I said, you're dreaming about it. Sometimes you're like about to go to bed. Last night, I was like, oh, I have a workshop tomorrow. I don't know. It's my first one. And I was like, okay, I have to say this. I have to say that. Don't forget to do this. So imagine for people who work with taxes, For example, you that are leadership, I mean, you have to work with us at third, you have to work with units, you have to work with consoles. It's hard to estimate. In total, last year, we will say that with the, I don't have the numbers with me right now, but adding to on how much we should be paid, we showed up a mock check for $35 million. So that's, and not counting units and consoles that didn't turn in the hours. So imagine that. $35 million is a lot of money.
That's a good way for you
And the
guys.
time that we put in there, it was like, all that. I mean, it depends.
That's a good way at the end of the year, if you have end of the year celebrations, to calculate out at minimum wage how much money you saved your school district and gave your school itself. It's a good representation for your parents to be able to, a visual representation of what you can see, your parents can see at least. How much you saved your school and how much you're worth.
Yes.
Which is probably double that, but.
Yes. And don't be afraid. Like I said, our IRS person sent me her hours and goes like, Roxana, I know that it looks a lot, but you know, 400 hours. And I'm like, that's not a lot to me on what she did in that time. It was a lot of time. And don't be like surprised, because 400 hours to me looks like a lot. But I said like, no, not at all. I mean, to me, it was like so little, thinking about what she has done in that year. So don't be afraid. Just show your time.
Does it include like the president, the principal who comes to the RPTA meetings, like those hours, even though, and then like the teacher reps that come to our board meetings? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Any time spent doing PTA.
Okay.
Anytime.
Okay.
So it's if the meeting, if we have 10 people participating in the meeting, that means, and then for an hour, that means it's 100 hours.
Yes.
Okay, so how about when you're doing things not with people?
That's fine too. If
Those
you're
are the
about
individual.
PTA in the shower, the hours count, is what we've been told. So
I was gonna say, because I'm on the computer and like organizing and doing all of that, so. So
Yeah.
when does this start? You said July 30th?
July 1st.
July 1st.
So
To
now
June
I have to
30th.
backtrack from July,
Yes, ma'am.
Estimate, it's fine.
Just estimate.
guesstimate,
Just
okay.
estimate.
A
Yeah.
lot went on this.
What
Okay.
I just want to share something that I've been doing, because before this meeting, I have no idea what I should be doing. So I have a Google Doc on my computer, and it's like open every time I turn on the computer, it's on. And I just kind of record everything we did that day as far as I know of. And then people who are helping to copy the flyers or something little. It's kind of like a diary. Every night I just sit on my computer and think about what I did, what other people's did, and for that day, and then kind of just put that in there.
So I have a question. What I was thinking was doing the Google Doc too, but having it to share to people. Now, is that allowed? And say, you guys, whenever you do something that day, could you just upload it into this Google Doc? Because I'm also putting a folder, a calendar together for all the things that we have to do that are coming up, because no one put a calendar together. So I was like, well, let's put a calendar together. Let's get a Google Drive together for all those little hours that you do individually, like what you said. And then it'll be easier for me.
I share it with the president and the membership, because it's kind of between all three of us doing most of the stuff, and we know what's going on. So I guess share with people who participates a lot. I guess that's a good idea.
I would share it with your executive board, and then you can guesstimate the hours that people who are on your executive board do for PTA at your school. If you have a picnic and, you have 15 parents that show up for, 8 hours that day to do whatever, you can guesstimate that and throw it into your document. But yeah, I would share it with your executive board.
Yeah. Anything else? Nope.
Or anything that you ever see or you're doing that's really working for you, let Roxana know, because we'd love to share your ideas with other historians and see what works for them. It may not work for your school, but it may work for someone else. So we're always great about sharing ideas and kind of helping you out.
Yep. Send me an email. Call me.
Or if you want additional training, that's another thing. If there's something that comes up, presidents, whatever, contact me. My email address for training is ptatraining@33rd.org. I can throw it up in the chat. Shoot me an email and we can arrange a training if there are enough people that want to know about that, or Roxana can contact you and we'll get you the information that you need.
Yep.
Great meeting, Roxana. You did such a great job. Thank you for such a wonderful presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for attend. Just hang in there. You're doing a good job. Thank you for coming and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so